Welcome to the FitBiz Accelerator, your ultimate guide to launching, growing, and scaling a thriving online fitness business. I'm your host, Tobias, and whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, this podcast is packed with actionable tips, real-world strategies, and the insights you need to crush your business goals and build the business of your dreams. Now that you're here, let's dive in. The house. What's going on? This is your host, Tobias Young of the FitBiz Accelerator. And now I want to bring on one of my personal clients, one of my friends, but also somebody who has an amazing story for you guys that almost lost his life through a fitness event and now continues to thrive and is now working on building out his online fitness business. Scott McDermott is his name. And he went from fat to fit to running a successful gym to an endurance racer, all different type of achievements, which we'll jam on. And now his focus is on coaching and speaking. So, Scott, welcome to the FitBiz Accelerator, brother.
Thanks, Tobias. It's awesome to be here. It's going to be great.
Yes, absolutely. So, Scott, if you had to describe your journey in just one sentence, my man, what would it be?
Just one sentence, my journey. Perfect chaos.
Yes. Scott's been doing a lot of things. So Scott, give us a quick little breakdown, man. Just quick little rundown, and then we'll kind of dive into the deeper components. But what got you into the whole fitness world from the beginning?
What got me into it is not knowing what the hell I was doing. So I was in architecture for 13 years. And even like growing up and stuff, I had no idea how to feed yourself. Like I just thought Fruit Loops for breakfast was fine. And I had no idea. And I got to 29 years old and I was 240 pounds, sick all the time, unexplained dizzy spells, ringing in my ears, back pain. So I broke my back in high school and it was just, painkillers all the time. And I was exhausted all the time. I was just a train wreck. I was an absolute train wreck. I was trying to make junior partner in the firm, working all the time, tons of stress, not taking care of myself, trying to eat low fat because that's what they said to do and not realizing how absolutely stupid that was. But I just didn't understand. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was going to all kinds of different specialists and everyone's like, oh no, it's not your eye, ears, nose, throat. It's not your brain. It's not the this, not that, not the other thing. Well, so what is it? Like, what's going on? And none of the doctors ever mentioned nutrition and exercise until like at the very end. I got to one doctor and I just was sick of it. And I wrote him a 2-page report saying, this is garbage. This is all my symptoms. Like, what's going on? And he finally did a physical and he was like, well, do you exercise? No, I don't have time to exercise. I'm busy. And he says, well, are you under any kind of stress? Well, yeah, I manage multi-million-dollar projects. I'm like middle management in an architectural firm. Well, do you eat right? I'm like, I don't know. I try to. I eat low fat. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? And he just all of a sudden he was like, kid, you need to join a gym and exercise and de-stress and get some sleep every night and drink some water and stop eating like a garbage can. And I did that. I left that appointment and I drove around town because I booked off a few hours for this doctor's appointment. So I drove around, I went to 3 different gyms and I joined one. I bought a 3-year membership and it was embarrassing at first. I was in the far corner lifting the little 2-pound pink dumbbells, but I don't care. You know what? And then I met a trainer who was like, just wanted to be Lee Priest when he grew up. And I just fell in love with getting in shape. And fast forward 5 months later, I dropped 40 pounds of fat, put on 18 pounds of muscle, I had a 6-pack, and I had just gobsnot tons of energy all day long without any caffeine. And the ringing in my ears went away. The dizziness went away. I felt amazing. And during that 5 months, everybody in the architectural office was like, at first they were like, oh yeah, Scotty's not going to have dessert. Come on, have a donut, loser. Like, right. They were just like, you'll never succeed. You won't, I don't give it a week. Right. And then after 3 or 4 months, I come up to my desk going, so what are you doing? You look good. Can you help me a little bit? And all of a sudden 50 people in the office, like probably 46 of them were on the plan. Everybody was eating well. Like Friday afternoon snack tables completely transformed. There was vegetables, there was, cottage cheese. Everything changed. And pretty soon I was like, I really like coaching people. Like I like this a lot. And I wanted to be a gym teacher when I was in high school. And they're like, no, you have an aptitude for architecture. You should go do that. And I was like, okay, I don't know. 18. What do I know? The guidance counselor tells you to be an architecture. I went and did that. And I was good at it, but I didn't love it. So yeah, 2 weeks before I was associate partner in the firm, I quit. I went to the gym.
So what what was that defining moment when you were like, okay, I just lost, all this weight. Now I have gained muscle. I have confidence. I got my health back, to actually you became a gym owner? Like, was that the next step, or was there like little progressions before then, or did you just like dive straight into it?
No, it was 2 years later. So I dropped all the weight over a period of about 5 months, and then just immersed and lived in it for a year and a half. And then I went to one of those personal development courses, like a Tony Robbins kind of thing. This guy's name was T. Harv Eker, and he had a course called Enlightened Warrior Training, where they just you really realize how great you can be as a person if you just line up what you love and really connect. And I just had one of those moments of clarity. I'm a Christian, so I'm like, God just said, quit your job. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I just did. I quit my job. I walked in and I just said, I'm done. I'm at the top of the ladder, but I'm on the wrong building. And so they understood. My boss was really good. He's like, I can see where you're headed and I get it. Like, we're going to miss you, but I get it. And then I went and worked part-time in the gym, and I got hired on as assistant manager. And so, I learned how to scrub the hot tub because some dip's not shaved in it, and like every day and I learned how to sell memberships, and I learned how to fix broken equipment and clean things. And I learned all the inner workings because I had hired a business coach, and I said, listen, I want to own my own gym. He goes, well, do you know anything about running a gym? I was like, nope. He says, well, you need to go find out. So I got a job in a gym and learned as much as I could. And then I started shopping for gyms that were for sale or a place I could build a gym. And I found one. I was going to buy this little rundown old gym and fix it up and whatever in a neighboring town. And I thought, well, we should move a little bit closer. So I wanted to live in this resort town, Sylvan Lake, because it was near where we lived and it was closer to my wife's work and halfway to this gym I was going to buy. And when I got to this town, I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to live here, I'm going to go to the gym here. What does the gym look like? And it was a hole. Wow. Like 8-foot ceilings with black painted tiles and just broken, like the cardio section was, I think it was 2 treadmills, 2 elliptical trainers, and a Stairmaster, and 3 of them were broken. Oh, and the sign had dust on it, right? The broken sign had dust on it. So it didn't just break yesterday. It's been a while. And I walked up to the check-in counter, and the check-in computer screen had like a penthouse pet coming out of a hot tub with high beams on in a see-through top. And I'm like, that's your check-in screen? Like people can see that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this gym had 400 members. And it was like, I don't think it was 4,000 square feet. I don't even think it was that. Like, it was maybe 2,500 square feet. It was a hole beside a laundromat. And I was like, I'm building my gym here. So we found a piece of property outside of town and put up a building, and that was a whole journey too. But we built when we built the gym at first, it was 10,000 square feet.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And then what were the biggest challenges that you faced when you first started building your gym?
There was tons of them. Probably the biggest challenge was getting the financing in order. Like, my family supported me and we had some money aside, and my wife and I bought my first house when I was 20. So I had equity because by the time, by this time I was 30. So I had some equity and stuff. So we remortgaged our house, and we had some family stuff that people, uncle that had given in some money and stuff. We had a little pool of money, but getting financing is hard because gyms fail second only to restaurants. And we know why. I mean, if you've ever read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, it's because a good trainer who's a technician has the entrepreneurial seizure. I'm going to run my own gym. And now all of a sudden you're running a gym. So now you need to be a manager and an entrepreneur, and you don't have time to be the technician, which is the part you love. And if you try to do all 3, you explode, right? And so gyms are notoriously owned by trainers. Well, trainers don't know how to market, and they don't know how to do payroll, and they don't know how to build systems. And that's exactly what was my problem, right? So it was struggling, and banks know that. So they don't really want to lend you money.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge. And we overcame some hurdles that way. It was tough, but we got the building built and we opened, and it was a steep learning curve. But I was smart enough to hire a coach. I'd hired a guy that had run a couple different gyms and had systems like yourself in a sense. And I just learned and followed somebody else's knowledge to fill in the gaps where I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how to do payroll.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do marketing. I didn't know how to buy ads. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. I just know how to train people. And the funny thing is that you own your own business, you don't have time to train people. That's a luxury. You don't get to do that anymore.
No. And your gym became a cornerstone of the community. And you had events like the zombie run, you had the Terry Fox run. How did you build such a loyal following?
Yeah, we expanded within 3 years. We added 5,000 square feet to the building. So we bumped up to 15,000 square feet within 3 years. We were pushing out the walls. So, but we did that, I think, really by caring about people. That's it. I mean, we cared about people. We weren't a corporate gym, and everybody makes fun and they use the term Globo Gym from dodgeball, right? But we were not a Globo Gym. We cared about people. We knew our members' names. We knew their children's names. We had childcare, where most gyms didn't have childcare, even though childcare, it's a pain in the butt because it's liability and staffing. It's a whole thing, but to us it was worth it because we were a family gym. And the way I designed my gym, I had the section over here, which was for cardio and everyday people. And then in the back, I had the 120-pound dumbbells for people lifting small vehicles and, right? And then upstairs, away from that, we had a circuit area with some smaller free weights for people that wanted to hide from all of that. And then we had group fitness, right? We had 2 studios that had just phenomenal programs. We had spin classes, we had Zumba, which then later became high fitness, and we had all kinds of stuff like that. And then the back room, we built CrossFit out. And so we tried to have enough different components that we could, but when we first started at 10,000 square feet, we didn't have a lot of those extra features. We only had 1 studio, but when we expanded, we added those other pieces to try and have a little something for everybody. But that model is a dinosaur.
Yeah.
You can't build that anymore.
Yeah. I remember I used to manage Gold's. I managed a lot of different gyms, but I remember there was a Gold's gym that was in Modesto. And when I came over there, it was already built. So I didn't design it. Okay, this one. But obviously at any type of Gold's, you're going to have the meatheads, right? That, lift heaviest weights possible in there. And for some reason, they put the free weight room on the 2nd story. So every single time anybody dropped a dumbbell, which happened like all the time, especially we had this one guy that like was a bodybuilder. He competed and stuff, and he would always just drop the heaviest weights he could, 150-pound dumbbells. Boom! It sounded like thunder. Like everybody like around the whole gym. And there was a spa underneath where they're getting like massages and nails and all this stuff. I was like, oh my God, we got to fix this. But yeah, that just brings me flashbacks of that. And then, hey, or during all this, you got into endurance racing and the Ultraman journey and, a life-altering crash. So let's switch gears a little bit. What led you to start racing in triathlons and ultimately take on ultra, challenges? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, let me dovetail back to one thing, which for anybody listening out there that works in a gym or has a gym or wants to have a gym, listen, the thing is, if you don't create your culture, it will create itself and it won't be what you want. And when we laid out our equipment, I very specifically, like, the adductor machine that ladies like to use, face the wall on that machine. That faces the wall, right? I know, like, some people don't get that. I actually bumped into a lady who was a former gym member, and she's like, we miss your gym so much around. Like, it sucks that it's gone because like the one, she mentioned that specific thing. They have that equipment facing the corridor, like where people are walking by looking at you. So you need to think about, what do people feel like when they come into the gym? Most people, when they come into the gym, they're scared to death.
Yes.
How do you help them not feel scared? Anyway, so I just wanted to, but how did I get into triathlon? Well, so I was kind of more in towards the bodybuilding world, and I thought about stepping on stage, but I didn't really know that I had the full-on commitment for that level of going that direction. But I taught spin classes. And I used to run back in the day. And I started doing Terry Fox run back in 1981 when Terry Fox himself was running across Canada with his one leg and cancer and everything. He super inspired me. And I ran for a while. And then I broke my back and I stopped running for a while because I couldn't. But we had a triathlon in our town. We had a little 70.3 half Ironman before those were branding like that. And I remember seeing this race happening in town and thinking, I wonder if I could finish one of those. Like, because I just was at that point where I was looking for a challenge. Right? I wanted something really beyond myself. I wanted a big, hairy, audacious goal. I wanted a goal that scared the crap out of me. And I was like, well, I can, like, if I fall out of a boat, I can not drown. Like, I can swim. I couldn't swim laps, but I could not drown. And I could ride the crap out of a spin bike for an hour. And I used to run before my back was broken, but it's healed now and it doesn't hurt. So I think I could pick up running again. And I was just sort of had this little, I wonder. But again, it was one of those moments where I think it was outside of me. It was beyond me. It was something else coming through me where it's like, you need to do a triathlon.
God was speaking to you.
Well, it could be, right? I mean, it's not like Morgan Freeman speaking to me, but I mean, it was just one of those moments where it's like, I think I'm going to do that. And it wasn't a question mark moment. It was just a known thing. And so I hired a coach. I had known some people in that world a little bit around town. I hired a coach and started training and learning how to swim, which I was terrible at, and bought a bicycle and started running again and started training for it and got really excited. And I bought a bunch of DVDs of the Ironman World Championships and started watching those and really getting into the culture of it, getting all excited about it. And then pretty soon I did my first sprint triathlon, which is just a little baby triathlon. And I think it was an hour and 8 minutes or something. And I was like top 20 or something. And I was like, holy crap. Like, it was super hard, but it was crazy great. And then I did a triathlon, double the length, an Olympic distance, a standard distance. And then I did the half Ironman. I was 8th in my age group, and I got a spot to Ironman Canada 5 weeks later. So I said to my coach, I'm like, do you think I could do a full Ironman? He goes, as long as you're not attached to the time, I think we can get you across the finish line. And I was like, okay. So we had like 2.5 weeks to double all of my training distance. I'd never run a marathon before, right? So all of a sudden everything doubled. So now it's a 6-mile swim, 112-mile bike, and a 26-mile marathon.
Wow.
So, right? In one day. Right? And you just got to think about, like, so this is 2005, and in 1998, 7 years earlier, if I had to shovel the driveway, it was 2 hours on the couch with painkillers and living on caffeine and no energy to do anything. I would spend all this money to go on a ski trip. I would ski one run and then go relax and rest to try and get up enough strength to do another run. Like, and now all of a sudden I'm doing this. And so I did Ironman Canada 2005, and I was 11 hours and 57 minutes, which was top 20%. And I was so completely freaking hooked. I loved it. I love the challenge. I love how hard it is. What I love about endurance sports, and I think it's the same whether you're a bodybuilder or you're into obstacle course racing or whether you're into endurance sports, you get to meet yourself.
Yes. You get to meet your limits too. Like, how far can you push yourself?
And that's what I mean by meeting yourself. Because when you're at your limits and you've got nothing left, and it's like, well, now what? That's when you meet yourself. That's when you meet yourself. Yeah. Not what's on social media and all, but like when everything's terrible and everything's so hard and you just want to quit and every cell of your body is saying, screw you. Who are you? Do you quit or do you keep going? And you know what? I keep going. You keep going. That's how you were successful. That's how I've been successful. I keep going. And then that was amazing. So I did 3 Ironmans, so 3 years in a row. And then I was at a race where you could apply to qualify for Team Canada to race around the world and represent the country. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. And I got a spot on it. And I applied and I did it. I got in Team Canada and I went to the World Championships in Holland and had a pretty rough race, but still an amazing experience. And then the next year I went to the World Championships Australia.
Wow.
Again, amazing experience. And then I did a couple more Ironmans. And then I was having lunch with a friend in preparation for Ironman in 2010. And I was meeting with Cheryl, and her friend Nick Mallet from Australia was there. He's like, "Why, you should give Ultraman a try." And I was like, shut up. Those guys are nuts. And he's like, no, think about it. Like, it's a 10-kilometer swim, which I was like, I don't think I can swim for 10 kilometers, 6 miles of open ocean swim, open lake swim. I don't know that I can do that. And he goes, yeah, but come on. Once you settle into a groove, you got a kayak support that'll feed you water. Lights. And I thought, wow, maybe, cripes. And then on day one, you do a 90-mile bike. So you do a 6-mile swim, 90-mile bike. So 10K swim, 145K bike on the day one. And then day two, you do, I think it's 170-mile bike. It's 275 kilometers. Yeah, it's a 170-mile bike on day two. This is a long day. And every day is a 12-hour cutoff. And then on day three, it's a double marathon, 52 miles, 8.5 kilometers. And I remember saying to Nick, I'm like, yeah, I said, I know, right? I was like, I think I can train to get the swim done. I know I can do the bike on day two because I had done a 400-kilometer bike for cancer fundraiser. Like, I loved cycling. I'm kind of a crazy cyclist, so I can do that. But a double marathon, like, come on, buddy, like, get real. Like, I can't. I hate running is so hard. It's especially at the end of an Ironman. Like, and it's going to be day three. And he goes, yeah, but think about it. you get up in the morning and you manage to run. He says, because you can run a 3.5 hour marathon. I said, yeah. He says, well, what if you ran a 4 hour marathon? You took it easy a little bit and you stopped, took a half-hour break, and then run another 4.5 hour marathon. You're still done under cutoff and you're done. And I just thought, he's right. And I signed up the next year. I signed up for the next year and I did Ultraman Canada in 2011 and I was 6th overall. And I was on a 27-hour race. I was 20 minutes from second place. Yeah.
You know what that sounds like to me real quick, Scott, is that sounds to me like, hey, if you jump off this bridge and you curl up, you won't die. Like you just have to do this. It'll hit you so hard you'll feel like dying, but you won't die. That's to me what an Ultraman would be. I'm like, so I got to give you props, man. Sorry, I just had to cut in there and let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's crazy. Like you have some serious cojones on you to do that, man. So good stuff. Excellent. And take us back to November of 2015. What happened during that crash and what was going on through your mind during the whole recovery process?
Well, so 2011, I had a great success at Ultraman Canada. And then 2012, my son was born. I took a year off from everything. It was great. And then but I was starting to get a little twitchy. And my wife was like, you need to go enter a race again and get out of the house. So, all right. Well, I signed up for the World Championships in 2013. And it was on Kona, Hawaii, or the island of Hawaii and Kona, and phenomenal race, 320-mile race. It's huge. It's awesome. Wow. It's powerful. But I threw up for 3 hours out of the 5 hours that I swam in the open ocean because of the swells and the waves and the current. And so I had a good race, but a tough race. And I was first in the world at the end of the World Championships. It was really hard, but it was amazing. And I thought, I want to come back and I want to be top 5. So I got a new coach who was geared towards that. Craig Percival was an amazing athlete. He was 2nd overall 2014 Ultraman World Championships. And so I hired him as my coach and we were training really, really hard. Got there 2015. Goals were dead set clear to be top 5. I came out of the water. I think I was 3 hours and 20 minutes on the swim. So much faster than I had been in the 2013 one. Learned how to deal with the salt water and stuff. Had a solid day 1 bike. And on day 2, I was in 10th overall and I was hunting number 9. And I was go. And going down a little bit of a mountainside curvy road in the light rain. And apparently there was algae on the bridge deck. And I don't remember anything, but I woke up 3 days later on another island. I woke up in Oahu. They had flown me to the brain trauma unit at the Queen's Medical Center. My skull had broken open. So my wheel slid out to the right. And we know this from kinetics, right? Like my wheel had slid out because I had sprained my fingers, my wrist. I broke my arm in 3 pieces, shattered my shoulder, broke 5 ribs. So we know I put my hand down, right? My wheel went out and I put my hand down. It was snow from the damage. And then I started to flip and my helmet spun and I split my face open and I busted up my knee and I tore my MCL and I broke my skull open and I had whiplash and it was a thing. I mean, I laid there bleeding on the highway, almost not breathing and dead and stuff. And then Peter Hudson from Australia. I had just passed Peter and Adam. They're both from Australia. I'd passed them minutes earlier. And yeah, Peter saw the crash. He was down in his aero bars and he said he heard this sickening thud with this sound. And he looked up and I was flipping down the highway at 70 kilometers an hour, 45 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
I was moving, right? I mean, I was in a hurry. Downhill, I was moving. And yeah, and Adam was a cop in Australia, so he had some first aid training and it was, so they got me in a little bit of a recovery session. My arm was twisted backwards in a place it shouldn't be because my shoulder was all destroyed and I was bleeding out from the head and, they put pressure on, but his wife was like, I can feel his brains. Like there's a piece missing. Like, it was a thing. It was bad. It was bad. So anyway, their crew stopped and they called emergency and the ambulance came. It took about 40 minutes to get there. And yeah, like Peter Hudson and Adam Fox and Gary Maw, like Gary's from the US, he guided traffic and those 3 guys didn't move. In their World Championships, they did not leave.
They saved your life.
They did. 100% saved my life. Kept me breathing. Of course, then my crew got there and my buddy Lyle got in the ambulance with me and they drove me to Waimea and then they flew me to Oahu. And, of course, my wife is waiting at the day 2 finish line with my 3-year-old waiting for daddy to come. And then all of a sudden the race director says, hey, you need to go to the hospital. And it was all unknown. It was crazy. They didn't know what was going to happen. But yeah, I woke up 3 days later, tried to get on my bike, realized I was in a hospital bed. And Lyle told me, he said for the 7th time what had happened because it wasn't sticking. But eventually this time he'd actually lied to the nurses. The nurse came in to give me more drugs, and he goes, no, somebody already gave him his stuff. Because she's like, man, every time they gave you that crap, you just went lights out. He's like, I wanted you to be conscious. And so he lied to them. So they didn't give me the stuff. And I came around and my brain started recording messages again. And I have very few memories of that time, but few snippets. Yeah.
So do you still get emotional when you think about that, man? Does it bring back like,
well,
or
obviously,
are you kind of past that, or is it just
No.
always going to be in there? Where
I think you could see it
Yeah.
there. I think you could see that I got a little emotional. I get emotional about the people that cared. I get emotional about the people that it would have impacted. I get emotional about the fact that my son would have lost his dad. That's what makes me emotional.
Yeah.
Do I get emotional about the fact that I crashed? No, that's a thing that happened. But I get emotional about the people that cared.
Yeah, the people that love you. So how did the documentary Living the Warrior's Code, how did that come to life? And what message do you want viewers to be able to take from that?
So when we went back for 2015, I had this idea I reached out to my friend Drew Kenworthy, who had filmed some commercials for my gym. And I was like, hey, I'd like to make a short documentary about this race, because Ultraman World Championships have been happening for over 40 years and nobody's heard of them because they're not on TV. There's no live footage. There's no prize money. It's just this quiet little race where there's only 40 people in the world invited. You have to qualify to get in, and they just quietly do this crazy little race and nobody's ever heard of it. And I thought, wow, it'd be really neat to make a documentary showing, because Ultraman is very much about Ohana, which is family, right? It's very much a team event because you have 3 people on your crew. You have a kayak support that follows you for the 10K swim. And then your 2 buddies are in a van and they zigzag leapfrog you around the whole island of Kona because it's self-supported. So they're your aid station, right? So you get to do this race with your buddies. It's very much a family event. And we've had times where one of the crew, their van broke down. So another crew will do aid support for 2 athletes until the van gets repaired. And then they can, like, you help
so
each
cool.
other, right?
Yeah.
You make sure everybody does their best. Like, we've had athletes that ran out of water and they get water from the other crew. Like, it's a different energy. And so I wanted to film that. And then the plot changed, right? And we just kept filming. And then I knew within moments of waking up and coming to consciousness in the hospital, I knew I'd race again. I knew I wanted to get back and finish the race. I wanted to complete what I had started. And so we just kept filming. And so we filmed 3 years of the recovery process, which was intensely difficult. Probably the biggest difficult part was asking the question of, well, why did I crash? Why did you crash? What's going on there? How come when you were at the World Championships here, you made that mistake and you didn't place? And when you were at the World Championships there, you were in the top and then you made that mistake and you got disqualified. And then you were at this race and you were almost, and then you did that and you didn't. Why do you keep sabotaging yourself just before you succeed? What's going on? And so I had the guts to start asking that question. I started talking to psychiatry type people and sociology people and deep thinkers and just going, well, what's going on? How come I hold myself back? Why am I always broke? Why am I always just succeeding enough? How come I never get to thrive? What's going on? What are you missing? And yeah, then we started getting into the whole, the childhood stuff and all the broken trauma and, having a rough childhood, alcoholic parents, all that crap. You drag it along with you.
Yeah.
Like, we always have to be working on ourselves. We always have to be analyzing what we're doing and finding out what's making us tick. And I realized that I crashed because I was uncomfortable with succeeding. And it's time to let that go. And it's still a process. I'm still working on that one. But I now race because I love it. Instead, I realized I was racing to prove I was good enough.
Yeah.
I was trying to show the world I was good enough.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. And the thing also that I noticed is that every stage on what you were going through, you said, I want to get a coach to be able to help me take it to that next level. Because we know, like, why try to figure everything out on your own when you can have somebody who's already like an expert in that particular thing, like guide you so much faster. So I got to give you a high five on that too. It's like every stage that you're at, you were here, and then you got a coach to take you to that next level, man. And then obviously there was the shutting down the gym and pivoting online, right? So after running a thriving gym for 18 years, what was it like to make the decision to shut it down in 2020?
Yeah. And again, that was hard. We were Business of the Year twice. I was Citizen of the Year twice. I was Rotarian of the Year. We went with the lieutenant governor of our province gave me an award for action on fitness for creating a movement in our town. Because like you said, I created the zombie run. We did an amazing race. We did the Father's Day run. We did the Terry Fox run. We did the 2 different triathlons. Like, so I loved giving back and creating events to support the community and having all that. But in March of 2020, I mean, I'd been studying nutrition a long time, and I've been studying medical journals and studying what's going on. And I was watching what was happening, and I'm like, this isn't medical. This is political. Something like there's a virus, sure, but this is political. This is not, something's funny going on. So they shut our gym down. March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. It was St. Patrick's Day, and they shut us down. You're not allowed to go to the gym anymore. You could still go to the liquor store, and you can still go to the bar, and you still go to Costco, but you can't go to the gym. It's dangerous. So I was like, okay. And like every gym, because I'd become friends with a lot of gym owners, we were just gonna do online stuff. We're gonna do this. We're gonna pivot. We're gonna try to hang in there. We're gonna try to, we were like, if you wear 3 masks and bubble wrap, can one person come in at a time? Like, we were trying to be inventive, right?
Yeah.
And Canada was way worse than the US. Like, our government is extra stupid. So, but whatever. I remember, so I canceled all my members' billing. I paid all my staff in cash to make sure that they were covered in case the government programs didn't happen. You've got tangible cash, so you're okay. And I was in the gym by myself, 15,000 square foot gym with just the air conditioning humming, or the heat humming, or whatever. It was March, I guess it'd be the heat. And just had another one of those whoosh moments, one of those downloads, one of those straight from God, if you will. But it was just like, let it go. What? Sell it off, let it go, shut it down. Yeah, but what am I going to do? What do you mean shut it down? What am I going to do? I just had this feeling, this every cell in your body just knew, yeah, it's over. What? So then, of course, I called my business coach and I called my accountant, and we started hammering out numbers. Can we survive being empty for 3 months? And the answer is clearly no, because even with everything that was allowed to be paused, we were still bleeding $15,000 a month.
Wow.
I didn't have 50 grand sitting in a Swiss bank account that I could just drain. And why would you?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to come back in June. June's a crap month in the fitness industry anyway. Like June, July, and August, you're begging people to not quit for the summer because they're just like, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm going to go outside. That's your Gen Pop. I mean, you've got your regulars that understand that fitness is all the time. It's not just January through March, But if you look at your cycles in the gym industry, you have 2 big hits. You got January and you got September. Back from holidays and you ate like an idiot, and back from summer, you ate like an idiot, right? Kids are back to school, you're back to the gym. Those are your 2 bumps in the fitness industry. So we're going to go back to being open in June, and everybody's scared to death of their shadow. I don't think that's going to be a great time. And I'm going to lose 50 grand in the meantime. This is over. Like, I just knew it was. It was like I knew it, and on paper I knew it. So I shut it down. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I also knew that people were buying fitness equipment like toilet paper. You remember people lining up to get toilet paper? It was insane.
Yes, I remember that. And I remember, a friend of mine actually owns a gym, and he started selling gym equipment outside of his gym, and they ran out. It was a crazy moneymaker for him. He was making so much money from just selling gym equipment. Yeah. Yeah.
So we had redone our insurance the year before, and I had a fresh appraisal of all my equipment. So I just put the appraised amount on everything, and it was just gone. In 2 weeks, we sold out $600,000 of equipment. Now, we only made 250,000. Like, you didn't, you certainly, it's not new equipment, right? But everything was gone. Like, people bought everything. It was just gone. It was just going out the door fast. And if any of our members had prepaid, like we had people that prepaid on our Black Friday special for, we had this whole thing with sale of a lifetime. You pay for 5 years or 3 years and you get the rest of it for free. Well, they had just dropped a couple grand or $3,000 or whatever, and we still owed them technically, right? I'm not going to screw people over. I live in this town. So that became a credit. Okay, we owe you $2,000. Come and buy $2,000 worth of equipment on your credit. And people did. They came in, they took a treadmill, they took a bike, they took whatever, cleared off their account. So I walked away not owing anybody anything.
Good. Yeah.
Which matters to me.
Yeah.
Right. Integrity to me is non-negotiable.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. I got it. And what lessons did you learn from transitioning to online coaching, and how has it changed your approach to being able to help clients?
Online's amazing. It is. And it's hard it's challenging. There's a lot of noise out there. But what I love is I got to go back to my roots, which is coaching people. I get to coach people. I get to coach people directly, connect with people, help people. I built this podcast studio in my house so that I could do better quality videos, better quality meetings, better quality interviews with people and help. And I love it. It's so enriching. And I just we had a 21-day nutrition reset that I had developed while we were at the gym, and I just pivoted it. I made everything videos and segmented it. And I put it on an app. I did the same thing with our 6-week program. I made videos, I put it on an app and built a monthly program. And, now working with you, I'm learning all the systems and the marketing that I just don't like.
Yes.
I just don't like it. And that's why I have you as a coach, right?
Yeah.
It's why I've always had coaches, because a coach sees what you don't see. And they're good at what you aren't good at. And even in triathlon, I have a triathlon coach. I have one of the best coaches in the world, Michelle Barnes from Tri Sutton. She's amazing, but she sees me from a different perspective. Like, even though I've been a certified national level triathlon coach since 2006, doesn't matter. When I design my own programs for me, they're okay because my mood gets in. Well, I'm like, I didn't want a hard training day on Monday because I'm always tired on Monday. And Tuesday, I'm so busy on Tuesday. I'll just do a little work on Tuesday. Wednesday, I have a really busy day on Wednesday. So I'll just do a little. That's not how you train.
Yep.
You can't do that. So coach goes, no. This is what you have to do. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't care. This is what you have to get done. And that's what you do for me. Scotty, This is what you suck at. This is what you need to fix. It's going to be really hard to do that. I don't care.
It's the tough love, man.
It is.
Yeah, I love giving tough love too, because then when you do it, you're like, holy shit, I went past the obstacle that was holding me back, Tobias. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. And as somebody in the Elite Level Coaches 2.0 program like yourself, what key shift have helped you grow your online coaching business and getting that momentum going? And what advice would you give to coaches who are feeling kind of stuck or unsure of their next steps?
Oh, that's a great question. So somebody like myself that's very hands-on, I have ADHD and stuff, and I like to just work with people one-on-one and just chat with them and connect with them. I'm very much a trainer. But what I'm missing is systems and understanding how to do effective, consistent marketing. That's the piece I don't have. I'm not good at that. So then that's about needing help for somebody to show you how to do the parts you suck at. And I think there's a piece where you have to admit that there's parts that you suck at. And you want to work with somebody that's going to bring you towards that. So it's made a lot of differences. And one of the big ones is overcoming my tendency to under-earn. I never charge enough. I give people the whole world and I charge them 10 cents, right? I need to fix that. And there's all kinds of layers to that, right? There's deservedness. There's all kinds of crap in there too. But that's, again, where working with a coach or a mentor, they can see your value because we're blind to it, right?
And help you build everything out and take care of the system part, because trainers themselves are typically not good at systems. They're not good at automations. They're not good at marketing, but they're amazing at coaching and dealing with clients. So that way, when you blend those two things, those are the trainers that excel when they have the coaches to help them fill in their gaps and things. And for you, how do you balance your passion for speaking, for coaching, for your endurance racing, all while maintaining a sustainable business? How do you do it, man?
I don't. It's too much. No. Yeah. Like I said, when you have ADHD like me, and it doesn't matter, like if you do color spectrums or Myers-Briggs, or there's all these different personality typing things, right? Where, one of them, there's a promoter, there's a controller, there's a supporter, and an analyst. Well, I'm a promoter, right? I'm a promoter controller, but I need to be an analyst when it comes to marketing and systems. And I'm not. But you're an analyst. So I work with an analyst who understands. I work with an analyst controller because I'm a promoter, supporter, like I'm up in that zone. So that's where my weakness is. And how I survive is systems. I have a Google Calendar with color-coded things, and I put my training in first. It's in advance. It's like months out, all my training, On Tuesday morning, I do this. And Tuesday afternoon, I do that. Wednesday morning, I do this. Thursday night, I do my long swim. Saturday, I do my long bike. Friday, I do my long bike. Saturday, my long run. It's in there first. And then I have time blocks for clients and time blocks for meetings and time blocks for planning. Like I have whole time blocks that are just TNT, right? Where I just have to sit down and do the stuff that I can't stand. I have to go, okay, what's this? What's that? What are these little pieces? And, I've got printouts all over my decks. This is how you build your 9-box system. And I got to go line by line, but it's got to get done. And so the only way we survive is having systems. And as somebody with ADHD, I used to think I was allergic to systems. Systems are stupid, man. I just want to go with the flow and do what I feel. Yeah, that's a great way to be broke. And you'll never get anything done. You can't spend your life chasing squirrels. You're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love systems. Like for me, systems bring joy to my life because then I have that serenity. I have that mental focus. I can focus on the things that matter at that time. And I feel structured. If I don't have systems, I feel completely chaotic. And I used to be like that. I used to be without systems, but working in so many corporate gyms, they have so many systems. And so they just drill it in your brain, systems. And that's why they're so successful. That's why they're billion-dollar companies, because they have such good systems. Whereas you have these mom and pop, different type of gyms that don't have the systems. And those are the ones that usually have a very tough time. So I want to do a rapid fire round with you. I'm going to give you some quick questions. So these are like quick answers, quick questions. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Always be learning. Always
Okay.
be learning. I listen to audiobooks 1 or 2 or 3 a month, and I listen to them on 1.5 speed when I run. When you go out for a run, don't listen to music that's chewing gum. Stop it. Listen to an audiobook.
Yes, I love that too. Yeah, I have Audible. I still have 4 credits that I got to use.
Yeah. The monthly credit system of Audible is freaking brilliant.
Yeah, it gets me to actually listen in on there. Number 2, what's your favorite endurance race memory?
Unfair. There's too many of them. Holy crap. Favorite endurance memory. Oh, wow. There are so flippin' many of them, Tobias. I mean, I've been racing for 20 years. Golly. I mean, Ultraman World Championships was such a blast. And it's got to be the day 2 double marathon because it's so sufferingly hard, and being there with your crew and that final mile when I'm going past the little cluster of stores and I'm about to turn right and go to the old airport in Kailua Kona, and you're going to make it, and 3 days is over, and I've lost 7 toenails, and I have so many blisters. My feet don't really want to fit in my shoes anymore, and I'm running with my buddies, and my son's at the finish line. I can see him, and he's jumping up and down excited. My wife's crying. Oh, that's the goods right there. That's a powerful memory right there. And there's tons. I could go on and on. I could spend another hour talking about memories from that stuff, but that's a big one.
Nice. Your favorite book recommendation for personal growth?
That's tough. Okay, so I'm not going to swear on this because the name of the title has a swear word, but it's like Un-F Yourself by Gary John Bishop.
Yes. And you can't say this. You can't say the online success blueprint. You can't say this. This is not included because this would give people too many good tips to be able to use. So anything but the online success blueprint on Amazon. Don't say this.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Apart from that book, which is obviously number 1. No, but Un-F Yourself by Gary John Bishop is a really cool, no-nonsense book about just kind of getting out of your own way that I love a lot. And the other one I really have to mention is Stoic Philosophy. Come on, brain. What is it called? I knew that was going to pop. Where is it? So now I'm looking. This is the part of the brain injury that draws me nuts. Oh, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
Okay.
Love that book because it shows so many examples from history where people were back up against the wall in a brutally tough situation, and they thought outside the box and created the most incredible thing. I think we are far more powerful than we realize. The Obstacle is the Way. Stoic Philosophy. Very good.
All right. And finally, what's one thing that most people don't know about you, Coach Scotty?
I'm a bit of an introvert. People
Okay.
think I'm just all extroverted, and I'm a public speaker, and I talk to groups, and I'm super comfortable talking in front of 2,000 people on fitness and nutrition. I've done courses. I've taught doctors about nutrition. No problem. But left to my own devices, I just want to stay at home by myself and not talk to anybody.
Okay. That's weird because I'm kind of introverted too. I have both. I have an extreme extrovert because of what I do,
Yep.
but I have an extreme introvert too. So it's like I have both things. So I feel you on that. And then finally, man, like where can listeners be able to connect with you and learn more about your work, or if they want to find more about, you know, your nutritional coaching or any type of your fitness coaching or anything? Like where should people go to find out more about you?
Yeah, my website needs work. Tobias is on me with that, but scottyfit.com. Yeah, www.scottyfit.com. You can find the movie there. It's an 82-minute award-winning documentary. We won audience favorite. We've been to New York Film Festival. We've done all kinds of stuff, won some awards. It's free on YouTube. It's a super motivational, family-friendly. Like we've had 6-year-olds watch it. Like it's fine. It's so you can watch the film there. You can reach out to me. You can connect with me. There's, you know, a little contact me thing or whatever. And you can find out information on the 21-day nutrition reset, which is just absolutely, I'm working with naturopathic doctors and chiropractic doctors and regular doctors now to get that program out to people because it's a fantastic way to restart your health and get daily mindset videos from me to teach on nutrition and mindset and like that.
Amazing. So make sure you go and check out his movie, his documentary, his website. If you're interested in getting some help yourself, then you can check out his 21-day reset. I highly encourage you to do it. It's very, 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 very good. Besides that, thank you all so much for tuning in. Coach Scotty, thank you so much for being here. It was fun. I had an amazing time with you. And you have such an amazing story, and you're such a great dude. So once again, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in to the Online Fit Pro Accelerator.
Thanks, man.
Editing.
What are you going to edit? That was perfect.
Thanks for tuning in to the FitBiz Accelerator. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a tip or strategy to grow your online fitness business. And if you're ready to fast track your success, don't forget to check out tntfitprocoaching.com. Until next time, stay consistent, stay focused, and keep crushing it.